Friends, it's 2025 and let's be honest, the economic vibes are not exactly chill. The world seems to be on edge, and the financial markets are reflecting that anxiety. Everywhere you look, there's a sense of unease, a feeling that something big and not so great might be just around the corner. The good times, much like that questionable tuna sandwich you left in your desk drawer since Tuesday, seem to be on their way out. Businesses are tightening their belts and consumers are starting to feel the pinch. The once bustling office spaces are now eerily quiet and the stock charts are showing more red than a tomato festival. The big question everyone's asking, are we headed for a global recession? It's the topic on everyone's lips from Wall Street to Main Street. The news is filled with dire predictions and gloomy forecasts, and it's hard not to feel a bit anxious about what the future holds. Now, predicting the economy is like trying to guess which Kardashian is making headlines this week. It's a wild ride with very few certainties. Economists and analysts are doing their best to read the tea leaves, but the signals are mixed, and the future is anything but clear. But there are some telltale signs, some economic smoke signals, if you will, that have experts a little bit, well, sweaty. The financial charts are showing some worrying trends, and the mood in the business world is far from optimistic. People are starting to brace themselves for what might come next. High interest rates are back to haunt us like that embarrassing picture from your middle school days. Borrowing costs are rising, and that's putting a strain on both businesses and consumers. Loans are becoming more expensive, and that's slowing down investment and spending. Inflation is still hanging around like a bad smell. Prices are going up and people's purchasing power is going down. From groceries to gas, everything seems to cost more, and that's making it harder for families to make ends meet. And let's not forget the global debt crisis, which is about as fun as a root canal without anesthesia. Countries around the world are grappling with massive debt loads, and that's creating a whole new set of challenges. The financial stability of entire nations is at risk, and that's adding to the overall sense of uncertainty. Buckle up, folks, because things might get bumpy. The road ahead is uncertain, and the economic landscape is shifting beneath our feet. It's going to be a wild ride, and we'll need to stay informed and prepared for whatever comes next. So keep your eyes on the news, stay vigilant, and let's hope for the best while preparing for the worst. So, what exactly is a recession? It's not just your rich friend complaining their stock portfolio is down a few percentage points. It's a lot more serious than that. A recession is a period of significant decline in economic activity. This isn't just about a few bad days on the stock market. It's a widespread economic downturn that affects everyone. Imagine factories shutting down, businesses closing their doors, and people losing their jobs. That's what a recession looks like. Think of it as the economy hitting a major growth spurt, in reverse. Instead of expanding and thriving, everything starts to contract and struggle. How do we know when we're in one? It's not always immediately obvious, but there are some clear signs. Economists look at a few key things to determine if we're in a recession. First, there's gross domestic product, or GDP, which is basically the report card for a country's economy. It measures the total value of all goods and services produced over a specific time period. If the GDP shrinks for 2 consecutive quarters, that's a big red flag. It indicates that the economy is not growing and is in fact contracting. Then there's unemployment. When businesses struggle, people lose jobs. High unemployment rates are a strong indicator of economic trouble. More unemployed people usually means a struggling economy. And finally, consumer confidence. When businesses struggle, people lose jobs. This leads to higher unemployment rates, which is another clear sign of a recession. More unemployed people usually means a struggling economy. And finally, consumer confidence. When people are worried about the economy, they tend to tighten their belts and spend less. Makes sense, right? When people are worried about the economy, they tend to tighten their belts and spend less. Makes sense, right? If you're concerned about your job or your financial future, you're less likely to make big purchases or spend money on non-essential items. You probably wouldn't buy that diamond-encrusted cat toy if you were worried about making rent. This reduction in consumer spending can further slow down the economy, creating a vicious cycle. So in summary, a recession is a significant decline in economic activity, marked by shrinking GDP, rising unemployment, and decreased consumer spending. It's a challenging time for everyone, but understanding what it means can help us navigate through it. Stay informed, stay prepared, and remember that economies are cyclical. What goes down will eventually come back up. Alright, let's talk about those economic warning signs we mentioned earlier. Remember those high interest rates? Yeah, they're like that friend who always borrows money and conveniently forgets to pay you back. They make it more expensive for businesses to invest and for people to borrow money, which slows down the economy. And then there's inflation, the economic equivalent of that annoying friend who always eats off your plate without asking. It makes everything more expensive, which eats away at your hard-earned cash and makes it harder to afford basic necessities. And let's not forget about the global debt crisis, the economic version of that one friend who always shows up to parties uninvited and overstays their welcome. Countries are drowning in debt, and it's making investors nervous. Not exactly a recipe for economic stability, is it? Remember that feeling when you open your inbox and it's just bills, bills, bills? That's kind of what's happening on a global scale right now. Except instead of bills, it's geopolitical conflicts, supply chain disruptions, and climate change impacts. Fun times, right? Geopolitical conflicts like that awkward family feud that never seems to end are causing uncertainty and volatility in the global markets. China's economy, once the engine of global growth, is slowing down like a marathon runner hitting the infamous wall, and energy and food supply issues, let's just say they're about as much fun as a surprise visit from your in-laws. All of these factors are adding fuel to the recession fire, making the situation even more complex and unpredictable. So, are we doomed? Is a global recession in 2025 a foregone conclusion? Not necessarily. Just like your chances of winning the lottery, there's always a possibility things could turn around. Some experts believe that the global economy is more resilient than we think, and that we'll avoid a full-blown recession. They argue that technological advancements, government intervention, and consumer resilience will help us weather the storm. They point to positive indicators like low unemployment rates in some countries and strong consumer spending in certain sectors. However, other experts are less optimistic. They argue that the warning signs are too strong to ignore, and that a recession is a matter of when, not if. They believe that the global economy is facing too many challenges at once, and that a downturn is inevitable. Whether or not a recession hits in 2025, it's always a good idea to be financially prepared. Financial stability is not just about surviving tough times, it's about thriving in any economic climate. By taking proactive steps now, you can ensure that your finances are resilient and ready to weather any storm. Think of it like packing an umbrella. You might not need it, but it's better to have it just in case. Just as you wouldn't leave for a trip without packing essentials, you shouldn't navigate life without a solid financial plan. Preparation is key, and having a financial safety net can make all the difference. First things first, create a budget and stick to it. A budget is the foundation of financial health. It helps you understand where your money is going and ensures that you are living within your means. Start by listing all your income sources and then detail your monthly expenses. This will give you a clear picture of your financial situation. Track your spending and identify areas where you can cut back. Use apps or spreadsheets to monitor your expenses. Small, unnecessary purchases can add up over time. By keeping a close eye on your spending, you can find opportunities to save more and spend less. It's time to ditch those avocado toast brunches and embrace the art of home-cooked meals. Eating out frequently can drain your wallet. Cooking at home is not only cost-effective but also healthier. Plan your meals, make a grocery list, and stick to it. You'll be surprised at how much you can save. Next, build an emergency fund. This is your financial safety net. Life is unpredictable, and having a reserve of cash can help you handle unexpected expenses without going into debt. Start small if you need to, but make it a priority to contribute regularly. Aim for at least 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses. This might seem daunting, but it's achievable with consistent effort. Break it down into smaller, manageable goals. Celebrate your progress along the way to stay motivated. This will provide a financial cushion in case of job loss or unexpected expenses. Consider diversifying your investments. Diversification is a strategy that can help protect your portfolio from market volatility. By spreading your investments across different asset classes, you reduce the risk of losing everything if one investment performs poorly. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversification means investing in a mix of stocks, bonds, real estate, and other assets. This way, if one investment loses value, others may gain, balancing out your overall portfolio. Explore different asset classes to reduce your risk. Research and understand the various options available to you. Consult with a financial advisor if needed. The goal is to create a balanced portfolio that aligns with your risk tolerance and financial goals. And lastly, avoid taking on unnecessary debt. Debt can be a significant burden, especially during uncertain economic times. Focus on paying down existing debt and avoid accumulating new debt. High-interest debt, like credit card debt, should be prioritized. Now is not the time to be financing a new car or that designer handbag you've had your eye on. Instead, focus on building your financial security. Make thoughtful, deliberate spending decisions and prioritize your long-term financial health over short-term gratification. By taking these steps, you can protect your finances and ensure a more secure future. The global economy is facing some serious challenges, and the possibility of a recession in 2025 is a very real concern. While predicting the future is impossible, trust me, if I could do that, I'd be writing this from my private island. Being prepared is always a smart move. By understanding the warning signs, staying informed about global events, and taking steps to protect your finances, you can navigate these uncertain times with a little more confidence. Remember folks, knowledge is power and a well-informed public is much harder to bamboozle. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm off to find that tuna sandwich. I have a feeling it's about to become a valuable commodity.